Hello everyone, my name's Adam.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to the podcast version of Scream Bucket 2.
Our second Halloween special.
Yes. And we've had one hell of a show.
Yeah, really one hell of a show.
Yeah.
We should never ever record after work again.
Yes. Normally we record in the morning on Saturdays.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah. Not this time.
Results were interesting.
Yep. Yeah, there were two technical problems that we had to... but we got there in the end, didn't we?
Yep.
We played some good songs.
We interviewed my favourite part of the show was us interviewing renowned local historian Derek Wheeler.
Yeah, what a great sport.
Yeah.
Really, really fantastic.
And such an interesting man. Like, he's just a continuous library of Hitchin knowledge.
Oh, yeah. His family are so connected.
I could speak to him for hours.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, me too. Very animated, very passionate about what he does. He sort of lifted up. He switched on when we started talking to him. When hit the record button. Really, really good guy. Obviously, we had to cut down his interview for the show. We will play the entire uncut interview on this podcast. I might split the stories up so we can sort of spread it around a bit. What do you reckon?
Yeah, go for it.
So we'll play the interview, and I'll have a couple of stories sort of thrown in along with the mix of our best bits of our show.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Previously on Screen Bucket. Did you see that envelope?
What envelope?
The one on the desk. Look.
No.
I didn't see it earlier.
Who's it from?
It's from my great uncle Phil.
I didn't know you had a great uncle.
I don't even know what a great uncle is. He's offered us sponsorship money.
Really?
Yeah.
What do we have to do?
So he's going to sponsor the show if we spend a night in his mansion.
Well,
That can't be right.
what, we get a free night stay in a mansion and then we get money?
Yeah. Oh, we have to record the radio show in the mansion. Maybe that's the sponsorship part.
Definitely, mate. Free stay in a mansion, money.
The next show will be from my great uncle Philip's mansion.
Hello, boils and ghouls, and welcome to another very special Scream Bucket. Within, you're bound to find creeps, freaks, and references to all sorts of horribly good television shows and movies. Tonight, Adam and Rob are planning to make their way around a mansion in search of a sponsor and a big bonus. Seriously, the things people will do to get ahead in show business. Even now, they are sitting in a taxi to get here. Let's hear what they're up to. Sweet screams, kiddies.
Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Rob.
And this is the second of our very special Scream Buckets.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this one for a while.
Absolutely. We're coming up to Halloween. This is a super spooky one. We don't really know what's happening. We're currently sat in the back of a taxi on the way to my great uncle Philip's house. Just in case you didn't hear last time, we've been set the challenge to record the show and spend the night in Philip's mansion.
That's not too bad though, is it? I mean, a mansion?
Yeah, it should be nice.
It's better than my living room.
That is true. It is better. I mean, maybe they'll have food on for us.
Yeah, servants.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we spend the night, we get sponsored by Uncle Philip. We get some nice money.
What more could you ask for?
Absolutely.
It's a shame this taxi driver won't speak to us.
Yeah, it's a bit rude, really.
He's just had the shutter over the entire journey.
Yeah. Still, it looks like we're on our way. Hold on. See those gates?
Oh my god, they're massive.
It's got Uncle Philip written on the front.
Oh, God.
Weird, isn't it?
He's up himself, isn't he?
Oh, it's a quite big driveway.
Hang on a minute, what's the driver doing? Oh, so we're at the destination. I just want you to know that this is goodbye.
Hold on, you haven't taken us up the drive yet.
I don't want to go up there. I don't want to go up there at all.
Why?
Oh, no reason. No. It's a lovely place. Get out. Give me the money and go. Come on, quickly.
What's the problem?
Just give me the money and go. £50.
Rob, you got 50?
What? Why me?
You're Mr. Moneybags. Everyone knows this.
I'm not Mr. Moneybags.
Oh, that's what they call you.
Oh, well, that's a lie. I will pay on this occasion. Okay, here you go. Thank you. Now get out.
Oh, I guess we're walking then.
Well, there he goes. Wow. So, yeah, it's a lovely garden.
Yeah.
I don't like those statues that much.
Yeah, those trees are looking a bit ominous.
And those ornaments look an awful lot like gravestones or something.
I know, right, let's, we're just doing this to ourselves. This is ridiculous. We're just going to a mansion, we're just going to have a nice evening recording a radio show. There it is, there's the mansion. Oh, wow.
It's massive.
It's, for the listeners, it's a gothic kind of mansion. Lights on upstairs. Okay, well, we won't be alone then, I guess.
I think the door's opening.
Oh, is that someone coming out? Oh, maybe that's Uncle Phillip.
Oh, fantastic. Let's meet him.
Hello!
Oh, I pictured Uncle Phillip as being fat and jolly.
I didn't picture him as a sort of limping man goblin.
No.
He's coming closer. Hang on, we'll see.
Hiya, you right?
He's quite a way off. He's taking his time.
So we walk to him.
Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Hello, I am Torgo.
Oh, you alright, mate? How you doing?
Yes, I am Torgo.
Hello, is Uncle Phillip here?
No, the master's not here.
Oh, that's very odd. So, who are you? What's your job?
I am the groundskeeper. Let me fetch your luggage.
Okay. Adam, he's really weird. I don't like him.
It's not that weird. He's fine. He's just getting our bags.
He's really weird. He's been acting all fishy.
He does look a bit strange. Maybe he's not well. You can't judge him.
I'm not judging. I just think he's a little odd is all.
Let's just go say hello. Torgo? Yes? Are you staying the night with us? No, the master won't allow that. I'll just take your luggage into the house.
I mean, we can carry it, honestly.
No, it's quite all right.
All right, thanks, Torgo.
I'll just take it to the door. Okay, Rob, he is a little bit weird.
Yeah. It's a bit weird that Uncle Phillip's not around either.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's the challenge. Maybe he's going to come later, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just get the keys out of my pocket. Oh, I dropped them. I'll pick them up.
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, Adam.
What?
Look at the bottom of his leg, between his trousers and his shoe.
What? That's a bit personal for now.
There's a hoof.
A hoof?
He has a hoof.
That's his shoe.
The top of it was a hoof.
Yes, that's his shoe. He's just polished it.
No. He's wearing a shoe over a hoof.
What?
Like a goat.
Like a goat?
Yeah.
Goats don't wear shoes.
Well, goats in disguise wear shoes.
You leap into some conclusions here.
All right, fine. We'll forget about the hoof.
I'll open the door. You boys step right in.
Okay.
I'll be going now.
God.
If you need any help or assistance, I'll just be at the bottom of the garden.
Yeah, okay, bye, Torgo. See you later. God, that was odd, wasn't it?
Oh, I'll leave then.
Yes. Be gone with you.
Okay.
Be gone.
Should we have tipped him?
Do you tip a man with goat feet?
He just hung up on these goat feet.
I don't. It's weird, very odd. Never come across it before in a man.
Well, I guess that is true. Well, anyway, we'll set up in here. It's quite nice to be in a big, rich mansion. On the way up, it felt more like a ghost town.
Yes, it did feel like a ghost town.
Okay, we're all set up now. We've just perched in one of the hallways. I've popped the radio gear down. We've got the mics set up, so ready to start doing our radio show.
Yeah, and it's just going to be another standard screen bucket, really, isn't it? I mean, we're just filming in a mansion. We're just recording in a mansion. There's nothing really that different.
No, we're going to be covering the news. We're going to be talking about some films we like. Now we're in this environment, it might set our imaginations going as well, so that's always good.
Speaking of the environment, it's very dark in here. Do you want to find that light switch?
Oh, yeah. I saw one over here somewhere. Did you see the size of that spider?
Oh, what are you doing, you stupid boy?
A talking spider.
You touch my web. You break my web. It took me 6 hours to spin.
Okay.
I'm fool.
Very, very sorry. Rob, don't go near.
You think I'm going near that French talking spider? Why does it exist? Why is that very rude of you, sir? I sit here alone for undisturbed for years, and you come into my mansion and you break my web.
Okay, so I'm really very sorry.
Oh, no, it's not at all. I think I have to share my Caribbean air with you.
Sorry?
Me Shiraz.
What?
Me, I'm a little wine.
Oh.
Rosé. I will not share with you now.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so you live here long?
Ah, yes, I live here. All of the other spiders, they go away because they find it too scary to leave.
Okay, the spiders find it too scary.
Oh, yes. Not me because I'm French. I'm from France. French spiders do not get so scared of the spooky things.
Okay.
We only scared of the English. But I'm not scared of you because you have broken my web and I'm very angry.
Okay, I'm really very sorry. Do you happen to be a dentist?
No, I hate dentists.
Oh, good. Rob, you can come over now.
He's not a spider dentist.
He's not, he's just a spider.
Okay. So, what's your name? My name is John the Spider.
It's a very good name. I like it.
Oh, oui. Is there anything you would like to know about this mansion?
Where's Great Uncle Phillip?
Great Uncle Phillip. I do not know this name.
What?
No, Uncle Phillip is unfamiliar to me.
Right. Okay. Well, is there any food here?
Oh, if you check the pantry, there may be some food.
Okay.
I believe that very strange limpy goat waiter makes some food every now and then.
Torgo?
Yes, Togo. He is something of a cook.
Okay, well, I guess. We'd quite like grass, I suppose. Well, thank you very much, Spider.
No problem, mon frère. But I tell you now, if you break my web again, I will come at you with the fury of 1,000 arachnids.
Right. Okay, we'll just be over here.
Okay, au revoir.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
That was even stranger.
Oh, I've never met a talking spider before.
I've never met a French spider before.
No.
Well, I guess we should talk about some sort of film.
Yeah. I mean, as it's the season, we've got to talk about something very influential, something that means a lot to us, something that's inspired us.
Ah, yeah, something that actually made us talk in the first place, actually made us friends.
Absolutely.
And what's that?
Evil sorry, Adam. Evil Dead 2.
Well, should we talk about Evil Dead as a franchise?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just talk about Evil Dead 2?
I just want to talk about Evil Dead 2, but let's just give a brief summary.
Well, the whole path to me being here talking about films started with The Evil Dead, I think. I did watch a lot of horror films and movies in general all my life, really. But there was one evening where me and good friend Josh, I don't know what we were doing that night, but we ended up watching just films. We were just going through Film 4 and things. And after watching 51st State was this weird, creepy horror film that we'd never heard of before.
Wow, that's a good film to start on as well, by the way.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I may have heard of it from like top 10 lists and whatever. You know, those 100 best horror films on Channel 4 they used to show. We didn't really know what it was, and we put it on. And The Evil Dead, 1979, I want to say.
I remember, I mean, I can't really describe what it did to me without describing a particular scene. But I remember my brother, the same brother who traumatized me by showing me Scream at 8, he managed to get like a sort of Necromonicon style DVD trilogy.
Okay, wow. DVDs? Good
Yeah,
Lord.
DVDs, yes. And The Evil Dead. I remember being like spooked up until the card reading scene. And then the card reading scene, I don't know if I was not quite paying attention, but essentially started reading out the cards. I was like, yeah!
Yeah, because something quite traumatic happens before that scene.
Is that the iconic scene?
Yes. With the branches and the vines and yeah. Me and Josh, we were teenage boys at the time. We were sort of making fun of the whole film. We were sort of going, "Oh, this is dumb," whatever idiots do watching films. And then something happened, and we were laughing and joking and teasing and insulting the film. And then the film confirmed our joke, and it no longer was funny.
Treated bad thing.
Treated bad thing. And we were going, oh, where's that tree going? Change of thing. And from that moment, we were like, what is happening? What is this film?
Because you kind of stick with her, like, mentally after that scene, because it's her sort of getting back afterwards and being hysterical.
Well, okay, we've glossed over the plot a bit, just to quickly go over that. So the story is 5 young people. We've got Ash, Cheryl, Scott, Linda, and Shelley. That's 2 couples and Ash's sister Cheryl. So they go off into the woods and stay in this kind of creepy cabin. And while they're there, they uncover a weird book. The Necronomicon, as it becomes called.
The Book of the Dead.
Yes. And they find a recording as well, and they do what young idiots do in cabins in the woods, and they played with things and toyed with things and read things, and it all goes wrong.
Yep.
They awaken...
A Kandarian demon?
Yes. They awaken spirits in the woods that tease and possess and kill the entire group.
In horrible ways, and they don't just, kill them. It's the nature of the possession. I mean, it's the effects as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the other thing as well. It's very low budget.
But it's still, extremely...
What?
I don't know, it cuts to the core. Like, the pencil through the foot, especially.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. The limitations kind of boost it up, I think. So there's a famous scene where a pencil gets shoved through someone's ankle, and they basically twist it, and it's horrible, and it's really uncomfortable. And the way they did that is they shoved a pencil in an apple. So that if you imagine that crunching, that's why it's so effective. Also, Sam Raimi, who directed it, just threw the rulebook out the window. There's weird shots going over the ceiling, and it's just the whole film just makes you uncomfortable, and it's the best. Ash is left struggling for survival, and at the very end he gets rushed by the evil demon, and then the credits roll.
Do you want to do your best demon impression of rushing?
That's how the end of Evil Dead.
Good face, man.
Thanks very much. No one can see it.
Hey, Scream Bucket, what's your favorite scary movie?
And that leads us to Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
Sort of semi-reboot, semi-remake, semi-sequel.
Yeah, because if you're watching that in a cinema, it starts off with him and his lady happy in the cabin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then, so you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, but there was 5 of them in the first one, and now there's 2 of them, and they're in a cabin, but they're happy, and everything's all right.
Yes.
And I'm, well, what's going on?
I think they kind of made Evil Dead 2 because they were suddenly more professional. Because Evil Dead was a runaway success, but they were still... I mean, it was professional, but they were still low-level, entry-level filmmakers. So suddenly Evil Dead 2, they had all this money, all this skill, a crew, So I think they just kind of almost wanted to wipe the slate clean a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Essentially, it's the same.
But it's so not.
I know. Evil Dead 2... The Evil Dead is horror. It's funny at times, but it's horror. Evil Dead 2, how would you describe it?
See, wacky just doesn't give it credit. Well, it's the mental cross from panic and fear to acceptance and to a certain extent agreement. You've got a man who is terrorised and traumatised in ways that we could not even begin to imagine, and there just becomes a point where he rolls with it.
Yeah, that's the turning point. Ash is, in the first film, very tortured, very shy, very scared. And he starts off like that in Evil Dead 2. But the demons, they don't just kill and attack, they also play with you and tease you. It's that wonderful scene when Ash is knackered, sits down in a chair collapses, suddenly above him, laughter.
From the head of the deer, the stuffed deer's head.
Yeah, so there's a deer head mounted on the wall and it just starts ripping him apart with laughter.
And then other things join in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lamp that's bouncing up and down.
Absolutely. The books are giggling. If you notice in the background, the bin starts levitating because the person holding the string was a bit too eager.
Oh, really?
And it just drives him like mad, completely mad.
There's something extremely gratifying in that, especially with me. Oh, I'm so squeamish. Horror movies scare the living daylights out of me. But to watch Evil Dead 2, when he finally does go mad, you stop being like the scared audience and you start sort of being... It's a feeling of relief. Because then you're like, oh, okay, now I can react as he's reacting.
I can fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. So Ash isn't on his own the whole time. I'd say some of the best bits are when he is on his own. But he's interrupted by the arrival of another group of cannon fodder.
Is it like Hillbilly and the girl?
So the cabin, the person who found the book, the Necronomicon, and recorded the words that summoned the demons, was a Professor Noby. It's Noby's cabin.
Oh, is it his daughter?
His daughter turns up with her oddly Scooby-Doo boyfriend. And with them come the hillbillies.
Right, okay.
Who guide them up the treacherous forest path. Jake is the white trash hillbilly, and with him his girlfriend, Bobby Joe! Bobby Joe!
It's so weird. It's just so, like, I don't know, it seems kind of out of place in it, but in all the right ways.
I imagine it's partially informed by the people they probably met while filming the first film.
I guess it's because it's filmed in Tennessee, or is the plot meant to be in Tennessee?
It's set in Michigan, I think, but they filmed it
in Tennessee.
I think so. That's something we should check.
The first one was Tennessee.
Bollocks. Yes, the first one was Tennessee, yeah, and they chose Tennessee because they wanted to avoid the Michigan winters.
Right.
And it just so happened that was the coldest winter Tennessee's ever had.
Wow.
When they were filming it.
That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah. I've listened to 2 of Bruce Campbell's books now on audiobook, and oh boy, the stories of filming those films. Yeah. The thing with Evil Dead 2 is it's horror comedy, so you've still got the horror stuff going on, but it's just full of slapstick, stupid sound effects. At one point, Ash's hand gets possessed and starts attacking him, grabs his face, and starts beating him with plates and things. It's just pure comedy. I love it.
It would be so hard to replicate today, like that kind of, to pinpoint that style. Because slapstick things have come and gone, and the vast majority of them have been very bad.
They, as a group, the filmmakers are very influenced by the Three Stooges.
Oh, really?
Which is a little bit out of my realm. I know of them, I never watched them.
I think I've seen an episode or 2. I'd imagine that a lot of the influence is from the movements of the violence, because there's bits where they sort of hit each other and stuff like that. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Especially in the third film, Army of Darkness, where there's at one point Ash is cloned.
Oh, when Bad Ash comes.
Yeah, when Bad Ash, and they're just doing completely... Oh, no, it's when he's being attacked by the skeletons, and it's just pure comedy. Like poking him in the eye and grabbing his tongue and...
Yeah. And the scene with the, when he goes into that, like, is it a windmill?
Yeah.
And there's the tiny little Ashes attacking.
We should rewind a bit. You can tell that we love these films because we're just jumping about. Evil Dead 2 is still in the cabin, and it concludes with opening a portal to get rid of the evil forces, but unfortunately, Professor Noby's daughter doesn't stop the portal in time, and Ash is left drifting through time and space at the end of the second film and ends up in medieval England.
Where else?
Well, they say medieval England in the film, but I think in Evil Dead 2 they mention they're in
I swear, yeah.
they're in the Middle East somewhere, in Crusades. Yeah, and that's a whole other film. That's just...
And they do the stupid reboot thing again, where, so at the end of the second one, he lands in wherever the hell, gets his gun out and kills a evil Kandarian demon, and then they all like, oh my god, who is this man? They worship him. But in Army of Darkness...
Hail he who delivereth from the delight.
Yes. And then in Army of Darkness, he lands with his car and then he gets swiftly taken away.
Yes.
Arrested.
It becomes the opening line is, I am Ash and I am a slave.
Yes.
So I guess plot-wise, to tell a story, it's better to start off in a low position. Because imagine how boring it would be if he was worshipped as a god in the opening scene. But he gets set on a path where he has to try and get rid of the evil once and for all. But by this point, he's completely sick of it. The journey of Ash as a character is cowardly, snivelling, ordinary man to cocky, fighting back man to just out-and-out, arrogant...
Well, you forget unhinged phase in Evil Dead 2. There's
true.
a point of complete unhingedness where before he switches to cocky, he truly becomes cocky Ash in Army of Darkness, I think. Embraces it.
Oh, was that line that King Arthur, he is actually called King Arthur, says...
Are all men from the future loud-mouthed braggarts?
Nope. Just me, baby. Just me.
Oh, what a dashing man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And the end is a point of contention because there were two endings made. So the original ending of Army of Darkness, he tries to go back to his present time by drinking this sleep potion and waking up however many 4 centuries later, whatever it is. But something distracts him while he's taking these drops. It's drop, something happens.
What does he say?
He's
I
going
took
like,
too much.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh dear. And he wakes up covered in rags and a big beard.
Oh God! No! I slept too long!
Credits. Brilliant.
And then there's the S-Mart ending.
And then there's the S-Mart ending. So that was proved to be too down for the test audiences because they're idiots. So they refilmed an ending where Ash went back to his own time and went back to work, went back to his job.
But he does kick ass.
He does still, yes. So it turns out he didn't get rid of the evil and gets attacked. In fairness, that scene has some great lines.
Lady, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store.
Who the hell are you?
Name's Ash. Housewares.
Oh, I need to watch these again. I need to catch up. You're like fully fueled.
I know. I absorbed these films. I haven't seen them in a long time myself, but oh boy.
Chainsaw or shotgun?
Chainsaw attached or not?
Attached.
Yes.
Yes. Good answer.
Double-barreled shotgun all the way. That's my Time Splitters 2 weapon of choice.
Yes, the best sounding gun in game history. Still unchecked.
Well, we've I do want to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead, but I think we might have to save that for another time.
Yeah, gladly.
Ash vs. Evil Dead, incidentally, is a spin-off that took place years ago, a sequel really, not a spin-off. And it's phenomenal, like proper good.
They get creative with bodies, dead bodies,
Yes,
in
do.
ways that I didn't know they could. They just go to town. Wait for the morgue scene. There's just so many great scenes.
It amplifies everything about, specifically Evil Dead 2. It amplifies that by about 50 times, and it's insane and violent and really funny. Splatstick, that's what they call it, isn't it?
Yes, Splatstick.
Hi, podcast again. We left it out of the film discussion as a way to save time, because we could go on and on about this. But we just thought we'd add that Bruce Campbell, the star and producer of Evil Dead, might just be our biggest hero.
I think definitely he is.
Yeah.
Unrivaled.
We've mentioned before that he kind of made us be friends. Not only just watching the films, but doing impressions and voices and chainsaw actions and all sorts.
Acting animatedly. Overacting with class.
Bruce Campbell is probably the best physical actor I can think of.
Definitely. I mean, Jim Carrey is undeniably brilliant, but Bruce Campbell, he does it. I mean, it's hand in hand with Evil Dead, really. If it wasn't Evil Dead, who knows where he would have ended up. But because he's got this story where he's possessed and then not possessed, and he has to fight his own hand.
Yeah. It's the hand fighting that really gets me. He because that was based on an advert where like a bored housewife's hand wasn't doing the dishes properly or something. I can't remember exactly what the reference was, but that's what that's based on. The whole.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the fighting in the kitchen's inspired by that. But equally in Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the first episode, he fights the doll. Do you remember the little toy?
Yes.
And it latches onto his nose, and to try and get it off, he just grabs flower pots and smashes it in his face. Just that small thing is hysterically funny for me.
And in a news section, I was saying how he was fed up with the role, and how at 60 years old he can't be in a basement anymore, face down, having been beaten himself into a pulp. If you listen to him in his interviews, he seems like a really nice guy as well. He's just really quite down to earth and a bit of a realist about fans.
Well, we know this for a fact. We met him this year.
Yes.
I can't remember when it must have been like spring.
It just stopped being cold, I think, or it was just stopping to be cold, maybe March or something.
We met him at the Forbidden Planet in London. It was a book signing for his second autobiography. I say second. I think there was one in between, but it was a fictional one. So we went to this book signing. We were in the queue for hours. The queue went round the block. There were some celebrities there. I saw Nick Helm.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to work out who he was, and eventually... we were there way past the signing time.
And he was still there. He was still signing away.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked a bit knackered.
He was.
You would be.
But he stayed. That's the thing. I think he acknowledges fans. In his book, he says how important he finds it to shake people's hand, which really bugged me because I didn't.
I did.
Yeah.
But you got the immortal line off of him.
Yeah.
All I managed to... I've never been starstruck in my entire life. I've met people from like some of my favourite bands.
Yeah.
I've sort of met Keanu Reeves. But with Bruce Campbell, all I could say, and I'll kick myself for this forever, is, "Hello, how are you?" "I'm fine, thanks." "I'm fine, thanks. How are you?"
Oh,
"Yeah,
that's
I'm
pretty
good.
cool.
I'm good, thanks." Yeah, it's like cheers, and then just walked off,
Yeah.
gibbering. What was your exchange?
I walked up to him, gave him my name, gave him the book, and said to him, "I just want to say that you've inspired us to make movies ourselves, and I just want to say thank you," or was those effect. And he replied, "Don't suck."
Yes.
And at that moment, a photo was taken of me grinning like a simpleton. I want to get those written on a board, on a block of wood on the wall.
Yes.
I'm going to get Josh to do it, and we'll have it up in our studio.
And every time we get tired or we're thinking we're like, just half arsing it.
Yep. Every time we're just rushing something out, look up and see, "Don't suck."
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
What a guy.
What a guy. Of course, he's not just Evil Dead. I think that's part of the reason he wants to get out of Ash a little bit. He is a working actor. He's done loads of stuff. Bubba Hotep
is just incredible.
Genuinely incredible film, and so far removed from.
It's quite touching in some places as well.
I find the ending really quite sad. I was in a slightly fragile state the first time I watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the morning after, but it, really, really good. And based on a short story, a very weird short story, where Elvis didn't die. He was in fact swapped with a duplicate of himself, and was now in a retirement home somewhere in Texas.
With his only friend is a black man who is convinced that he's John F. Kennedy.
Yes. Who is convinced that he was shot, his body taken away, dyed black, and they put sand in where the bullet wound went in.
Brilliant. And then they do refer to each other as Mr. President and as Elvis.
Well, you would. You would. And then, of course, the retirement home gets attacked by a walking mummy.
An Egyptian mummy.
An Egyptian mummy that was thrown loose of a truck at some point and fell in the river. Yeah, it's a ridiculous film, but it's quite sad and good at the same time. When we mentioned Bruce's physical acting, the best moment in another film he did called Man with the Screaming Brain, which he directed, in fact. There's one... He gets someone else's brain inserted into his head, along with his, and they start fighting over control of the body.
Oh, God, I need to see this
film. This is the best scene in the film. And he breaks out of the lab. It's all Frankenstein-esque, Rah! And while he's fighting himself, fighting his own body, grabbing his arms, attacking his face and stuff, he just runs through a group of school children who all just
yes.
scatter. It's really, really funny. Alien Apocalypse. Don't watch that. Rubbish. Really rubbish.
I like all of his appearances in the Spider-Man films, the Sam Raimi ones.
Yep, they're great.
I think they were just... I was watching some of his best parts on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And I forgot about the one, I think it's Spider-Man 3, where he's a French waiter.
Yeah.
So good.
Do you know
the best one?
My favourite role of his in the Spider-Man franchise was the narrator in the PlayStation 2 Spider-Man... was the narrator in the Spider-Man 2 game on the PlayStation 2.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
He does all the narrating of the tutorial and stuff. It's very funny. And the moment you recognise it's him,
oh, great.
Just that came out around the time I was getting into Evil Dead, so it was really like it. Also in Oz, he plays a guard. It's very funny in that as well. And that was the scene that was going to be cut, but the lead actor forced Sam Raimi to... the editor... Yeah. The scene was going to be cut, but when they were editing the film... You know Oz?
Oz the Great and Powerful?
The prequel to Wizard of Oz. They were editing it, and Bruce gets a phone call from Sam Raimi and the editor saying, "We need you back."
Really?
They were obviously drunk or something, and they were sort of talking about it, and they kept him around to film this extra scene because they needed it.
Really?
It's
amazing.
It's just a stupid scene where the wizard is trying to get into a building and has to deal with this guard. It's very labyrinthy.
Right.
It's very funny. Yeah. Also, the other thing, just to round it off, really, Jack of all trades.
Yes, we need to get around to binging that.
Jack of all... absolutely ridiculous. I love that so much. He's done some more serious things. He did Briscoe County Jr., but Jack of all trades was complete dumb, action-y comedy. In the same vibe as Hercules and Xena, where he was also in as the best character, Orticulus. But this was him in a sort of lead role as a spy in the Caribbean islands.
Right.
Defending the American territory from the naughty French.
Oh, the French, at least they have a good spy there.
Who plays Mini-Me? What's his name?
Vern Troyer.
Vern Troyer comes in playing Napoleon, which is very funny. Yeah, it's great. Recommend that completely. That's on YouTube, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, should we go back to the show?
Yes.
Adam's 31 Days of Horror. Day 17. Martin, 1978.
My name is Martin. I'm 84 years old. People think I'm crazy when I tell them how old I am. I'd like to be normal. I just have a sickness. The only way I can survive is by drinking blood.
Martin opens on our eponymous hero boarding a train to Pittsburgh. As he does so, a young woman catches his eye, and as they set off, he prepares a syringe and a sedative and slips into her carriage. Now in his head, he witnesses what happens in a sort of romantic black and white vision of what he's about to do. A beautiful young woman ushering her undead lover into bed. We cut back to reality and Martin's barged into a woman's cabin. She's far from seductive. He attacks her, injecting her with the syringe and soothing her to sleep. And then he drinks her blood. Yes, Martin is a vampire, but there's no supernatural powers here, no magic. Just wandering the streets of Pittsburgh, Martin is one step out of society at all times. One character compares him to a cat, silent but always listening, and do you know what? It's not a bad comparison at all. Martin is, quite simply, breathtaking. George Morero even claimed it to be his favourite work, and yet it just doesn't seem to exist anywhere. Like, anywhere. I hadn't even heard of it until relatively recently. Definitely watch this film.
Martin, another kind of terror.
For the full review and more, please head to www.ap-tyler.co.uk.
Ah, well, this is a bit spooky.
Well, there's a lot of cobwebs around. Hey, can you hear a radio?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's over here.
Oh.
Are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here.
Okay, we don't want to hear that.
You're coming from a meeting regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right?
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting.
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know when we find them, we can kill them.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
And the news that went.
Movie news. This sounds good.
Now.
Yeah.
This is the news.
This sounds like you, Rob.
That sounds exactly like me.
Bruce Campbell has vowed that absolutely nothing will tempt him into reprising his role as Ash again. Speaking to Digital Spy, he said, "Just so you know, nothing will ever make me interested in enduring that sort of hardship ever again. I'm a 60-year-old man. How much longer do I need to be face down in the dirt in a bleeping cellar that's dank and wet and cold? How long do I need to do that?" For fans that are disappointed and annoyed with this decision, I would like to remind you, you've got 3 seasons of Ash vs Evil Dead. Be satisfied. I mean, where the hell did that even come from? Jim from The American Office seems to have a thing for sequels. John Krasinski, creator and star of the fantastically original and hugely tense A Quiet Place, has announced that he is writing a sequel to the film. He was originally only acting as a consultant on the film, but I suppose at the end he just couldn't help himself. God. Expect to see A Quiet Place 2 hitting cinemas 15th of May 2020. Just tell them to turn the volume down. Idris Elba is joining the cast of the movie adaptation of Cats. It was already acknowledged. It was already acknowledged to fans of the legendary musical that they'd nabbed Ian McKellen for the role of Gus the theatre cat, and Jennifer Hudson as another cat called Grisabella.
Should we change the radio station?
No.
But we now know that Idris has got his paws on the role of evil cat villain Cavity.
Now, I don't know about you.
Is that his name?
Yeah. No.
Cavity.
Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a cat dentist to me, and that is where I draw the line. With enough spider dentists around, I think if there were cat dentists, I'd lose my mind. After Fox News described Jamie Lee Curtis as a hypocrite for using firearms in Halloween, despite being a huge advocate for tighter gun control, the Scream Queen has explained that the decision was completely justified. Curtis said, "I fully support an assault ban." No, did she say that? "I fully support an assault ban." She did say that. "I fully support a stock ban. I fully support the Bill of Rights. And fully support the Second Amendment." but she has no problem with people owning firearms if they have been trained. It may be worth mentioning that Curtis maybe shouldn't have to explain herself in the first place because Halloween is just a film. Finally, Season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm has begun production.
Really?
I can't give you any kind of witty comment about Season 9 because Amazon Prime asked me to pay £100 million an episode to watch it, and I politely declined. However, I've heard good things, and if it's anywhere as good as I know 1 to 8 is, Larry David's got us covered for a hilarious run of episodes. That is the news.
Whoa. That was a rather unprofessional radio cast, wasn't it?
No, that was absolute
He was
rubbish.
just giggling and getting his words wrong.
Yeah, it's really, really ashamed to even listen to it.
Who would even listen to a show like that?
Some kind of absolute loser.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we, let's move on and find another room?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's just you, Stream Bucket.
Well, it's a very posh kitchen, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like something you'd see in Country Home or something.
It's very old pans, very old oven, very old everything.
I realise that we've seen some weird things already. Can you see a man sat over there?
That's odd. Do you think it might be your uncle?
No, that's Derek Wheeler.
What, you mean the local historian, Derek Wheeler?
Local Hitchin historian and curator of the Hitchin Ghost Walk.
We should definitely speak to him.
Let's go over.
Hey, hello. We are here with local historian and all-round ghost aficionado, Mr. Derek Wheeler. How are you today, Derek?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, brilliant.
Lovely stuff. We actually brought you up last time, because we're fascinated by the Ghost Walk and kind of the history you've done in Hitchin. How did you come about starting it all?
It was all by accident.
Okay.
It's because a one-time curator of Hitchin Museum, a lady called Gillian Riding, had a phone call from some very strange people in Hereford. Okay. Not Hertford, Hereford.
Okay.
And their hobby was every weekend hiring a minibus and travelling to some country house up and down the country that was known to be haunted. They hoped to spend the evening in this haunted house and then come back and have an even more pleasant meal in a local hostelry. Well, they booked up at the Sun Hotel in Hitchin, intending to go on to Nebworth House, which is known to be haunted.
Okay.
And then they were coming back to the Sun Hotel to spend the rest of the night.
Right.
Happily discussing their stories and sipping a few gins, I suppose. Well, when they discovered that the Sun Hotel in Hitchin was haunted, they thought perhaps Hitchin might be haunted. So they approached the museum to see if anybody was willing to do a ghost walk.
Okay.
Well, nobody had ever done a ghost walk. However, in the museum archive, there was a script written by somebody years before. I'm afraid I do not know the gentleman's name. And I was given, like on Time Team, 3 days. Learn the script, do some research, and then do a ghost walk. Well, it wasn't too much effort because one of the jobs I used to do when I worked at Hitchin Museum, I was technician at the museum, and at that time I was repairing and restoring 100 years of newspapers and Heart's Countryside magazines, and my head was full of stories that I'd read in all these publications. Far more stories than any curator would ever have had time to look at. So I had several ghost stories in my head.
Yeah.
I'd also been doing research for a book which I was writing at the time, and I had access to 19th century diaries, 19th century journals.
Wow.
And so just adding to the script was fairly easy. So I did this walk, and then it was suggested that perhaps it should be an occasional occurrence at the museum. And I was booked to do 2 more. And then the following year, Keith Hoskins asked me if I would do one for the Hitchin Festival, which is at the end of June normally and lasts till the end of July. Well, I was still doing the ghost walks in September because so many people wanted to come.
Yeah.
I had to ration the number of people on each trip. And so I think I did 6 or 7 in the first year. And I've been working for Keith Hoskins ever since, doing the ghost walks
Amazing.
I used to do them throughout the year, but I don't do them in the winter now because people just get too cold.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it makes sense. Because the walk, you go through most of the town, really. Certainly
Well, only the old
bit,
original
absolutely,
medieval core of the town. I don't go.
No.
I don't go down Bancroft, and I don't go any further than Tilehouse Street.
There's so much history though, just in that tiny section.
I mean, Bucklesbury and Sun Street alone. Like, it's interesting that the Sun Hotel was what got their interest, because the Sun Hotel's got a very haunted room in it, doesn't it?
It's supposed to have a very haunted room where very strange things happen, but I won't tell you too much because people have to come on my ghost walk to find out.
Absolutely.
But several people have experienced strange things in that room.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about doing the ghost walk is, from time to time, not every ghost walk, but occasionally, people come up to me and say, "Did you know so-and-so was haunted?" Like a couple of months ago, they said, Have you ever been in the rooms above Quotidian the Bakers at the bottom of Sun Street? I said, no. Well, the lady on the walk said she'd stayed there, and it was very, very weird. Strange things happened in that room. Well, that was another one to add to my list, you see.
Yes.
But it happens all the time.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I have to say, I don't believe a word of any of it. I am just your narrator.
Yes.
I'm like somebody doing a radio programme. I narrate the stories.
Yeah.
I don't have to believe them.
I remember that vividly from the walk we went on.
Thus, I sleep at night.
Hitchin, obviously, so the whole thing started when someone thought Hitchin might be quite haunted. Would you say, is there more history in Hitchin than say other towns? Is there a reason why it's such a hub of activity and folk stories? And
I really don't know the answer to that one. Hitchin has this medieval core of buildings with 17th, 18th, 19th century additions, but essentially the old pattern still remains. People tend to stay in Hitchin for generations. I mean, my family have been here since possibly the Civil War.
Yes.
So when this happens, people tell stories in families and they get spread around, and there hasn't been a great deal of change.
No.
If somebody from the 19th century wandered down Bucklesbury or wandered down Sun Street or got into the old Market Square, it's still essentially the same.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess St Mary's was that the sort of oldest sort of foundations we're building in Hitchin?
St Mary's Church is the oldest building in the centre of town, yes.
Unusually big as well.
It's the largest parish church in Hertfordshire.
Right.
Ashwell's pretty big.
Oh, is it?
But St Mary's is the biggest parish church in Hertfordshire, yes.
Yeah, it's there's a whole thing about the origins of Hitchin might be a bit grander than sometimes we're aware of.
Yes.
King Offa had a stake in it.
King Offa is supposed to have built a monastery,
right,
which was then extended, but then various fates happened to it. It was struck by lightning, it fell down, an earthquake destroyed it, it was rebuilt again, and then fire destroyed it. So the church that's there now is 13th, 14th century, with bits of earlier structure. But I don't have any ghost stories relating to the church.
No, well, no, you wouldn't.
Most people expect me to, but I don't.
I've heard graveyards are a bit of a misnomer. They don't tend to have too many stories. It's where people live and work and spend their time. I think that seems to be the...
Yes.
There's a lot of shops with...
Oh, a lot of shops.
Stories, yeah.
Yes. Probably the most haunted building is very close to the church. That is a dress shop called Anne Marie's.
Right.
Which is opposite one of the church gates, one of the gates which is never unlocked.
Okay.
But from a long, long time, from the 1930s or 40s to the 1990s, it was a bookshop and stationer's shop called Howell's.
Okay.
And indeed, my mother worked in there for years in the basement, selling Christmas cards and greetings cards and that sort of thing. But she didn't tell me about any ghosts. But there were two ladies who worked with my mother in the shop who used to take it in turns to make tea for the staff on a Saturday. And the tea ceremony involved going up 2 or 3 flights of stairs to fill a kettle up and then put a kettle on a gas ring, or maybe it was an electric kettle, I don't know, and then deliver tea to all the staff. And on the way, these two ladies had a strange experience. Neither experience was connected to the other experience.
Okay.
The first lady claimed that the ceiling had opened as she went up the stairs and water had cascaded down, and she thought a hot water header tank had burst. But then it was the middle of July at the time, and people don't have burst water tanks at that time of year. As well as that, there's the consideration that Mr. Howell did not have a tank in the room. So where the water came from, we do not know. And the other lady went up the stairs to make the tea, and she got halfway upstairs and couldn't get any further because her progress was stopped by a very tall man in a top hat smoking a clay pipe. Whatever she said to him, he wouldn't move. She went downstairs in high dudgeon and said to Mr. Howell, "If you don't get rid of your undertaker friend on the stairs, nobody's going to get tea today." Well, our undertaker friend was investigated by Mr. Howell, who discovered that he vanished, but the stairwell was full of tobacco smoke.
Wow.
And there's lots of sightings of this particular figure in the top hat smoking a clay pipe. One lady who was a teenager when my mother worked in the shop said she used to help my mother, but her father used to deliver newspapers. He used to go to Hitchin railway station early in the morning, pick up newspapers in a van and deliver them to all the newsagents in Hitchin. And one morning, very, very early, probably 5:30, 6 o'clock like that, he was parked in the churchyard with the two doors open on the back of his van, lifting newspapers and putting them in Howell's shop. And when he turned round to get another load of newspapers, a man in a top hat smoking a clay pipe was handing newspapers to him. And I won't tell you any more stories about that, but Pat Howell, the widow of Paul Howell, who used to own the shop, told me that when her husband did some excavations in the backyard behind the shop, took up paving stones, underneath were cobblestones, and in amongst the cobblestones were hundreds and hundreds of clay pipe stems. So somebody in the 19th century had been a very, very heavy smoker in that shop, which adds credence to the story that you know, the ghost is possibly somebody who lived in the shop.
Yeah, that's incredible. That seems to be the way. I mean, the story I always enjoy as a very, very personal, selfish thing, as it happens on my birthday, is the tale of the Cavalier horseman riding from Person to Priory. And every year I've tried to find him on my birthday and try and walk the street that I presume would be running down.
Oh, yes.
Goring.
Mr. Goring,
yes.
He did exist. I believe in Shillington Church there are references to the Goring family. He was a Cavalier, and he had a sweetheart who lived along the little lane next to Priory Pond, which at that time in the English Civil War was called Malt Mill Lane, and it was the main road to Charlton before the road was cut halfway up Tilehouse Street.
Okay.
So Goring would go there every night to visit his sweetheart. As Hitchin was home to 3,000 of Cromwell's Roundhead troops, it wasn't a sensible thing to be seen in the middle of Hitchin in Cavalier dress, you know. And one day, a group of Roundheads arrested him near Highdown House along the Purton Road and neatly removed his head, put the headless corpse on the horse, slapped the horse's rump and set the horse off back towards Hitchin and the Priory. And on the 15th of June every year, a headless horseman is seen riding down the Purton Road. How he copes with the wall at the bottom of Tilehouse Street and the roundabout and the traffic, I've no idea. But somebody came on my ghost walk once and absorbed all this.
Yeah.
And months later, I saw him, and he had told me on the walk that he was going to pitch a tent near Highdown House. He'd got permission from the farmer to set up a video camera on the 15th of June. And he did that. And months later, I spoke to him. I said, "Did you see the ghost?" He said, "No." He said, "I saw lots of spirits." I said, "Well, what sort of spirits?" He said, "They were all in the bottle and I slept soundly." There was absolutely nothing inside the camera.
Amazing. Oh, that's a good idea, though.
Yeah.
I thought I was tempted to give that a go. Brilliant. You mentioned people who go on the walk, or volunteer stories if they've got them. Do you ever have people sort of joining in when they hear something they might have recognised, or oh, that's the room I'm staying in, or
oh yes. There's a room in the sun which is troubled.
Yes.
The Sun Hotel.
Yeah.
And I took a party of French students round one day with their teachers, a husband and wife team. The wife was French, the husband was English, and they confided to me that they had got married in Hitchin and had their reception in the Sun Hotel.
Okay.
And they had indeed stayed in the haunted room. I said, well, how do you know you stayed in the haunted room? Well, he whispered the number in my ear. I said, yes, that's the right room. And he said, coming hot foot from the reception, I leapt into a bath before leaping into bed. And I got out of the bath successfully and leapt into bed. Within 5 or 10 minutes, one of the taps started gushing in said haunted room, and I leapt out of bed, turned the tap off hard, got back into bed, and all night long what should have been a very exciting night for me was punctuated by the plumbing in that room. So he said, yes, I do believe that room is haunted.
Oh, amazing.
Worst kind of poltergeist.
A cheeky one.
Yes.
What's the name of that sort of abandoned, ruined church outside of Hitchin?
Oh, Minston Chapel.
Minston Chapel.
That's another one, isn't it? It's meant to be.
Well, it's supposed to be haunted. Reginald Hind asked, the local historian who wrote the history of Hitchin in 1929, he asked for his ashes to be buried in Minston Chapel. And there's a spoof ghost, because the Latchmore brothers, who were early photographers in Hitchin, published a picture of a ghost,
the monk,
a white friar or something like that. Obviously, I don't know if it was a white friar or a grey friar, because it was a black and white glass plate. Well, exactly. And they tried to pass this off as a ghost, but I believe it was double exposure. But people do go up there thinking it's haunted. They probably think it's haunted by Reginald Hind, but I don't know. I don't know.
There's even a headstone. It's presumably that's
Hind's stone.
Yeah.
I mean, the church was last used for a wedding, I think about 1730 or something like that, and apparently it was removed from the consecrated list because the priest who was conducting a wedding was disturbed as he was reading from the prayer book, because a piece of masonry fell from the roof and struck it out of his hand, and he decided it was the building was time expired. It was time to shut up shop and start preaching somewhere else.
Clop Hill, is that Bedfordshire?
Yes, Clop Hill is the Black Magic Church.
Yes.
Is there reports of Satanists going there in the 70s and things like that?
It was always in the newspapers. 1960s, 1970s, people had black magic parties up there and all that sort of thing. I've never actually been there. I'd probably be too frightened.
I actually had a friend who lived down, because it's on top of a hill. I had a friend who lived sort of halfway up it when we were teenagers, and we did occasionally go up, and we didn't really know where we were, so we weren't aware of the stories, but the atmosphere is pretty sinister up there.
Is it?
I wonder if it's the wind, because it's high and exposed.
It is high, yeah.
But yeah, the dogs howling and wind going. We're like, okay, we need to go back in now.
Isn't there a thing about it, this might be rubbish, about being built the wrong way?
Upside down?
So it's an upside down cross on a map or something like that, I don't know.
What, in that church?
In Clop Hill.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. I love it. I went up there fairly recently, and the best thing is there's a sign that says "Church closed, dusk till dawn," which just makes you go, "Oh, that's awesome."
There is a church. It might be in Barnet. I think Barnet was once in Hertfordshire, but now I think it's Middlesex.
Right.
But apparently I believe there's a church there, or it might be Monk and Hadley, but it's close to Barnet, where there's a stone sarcophagus, half in the churchyard and half in the church, because the man couldn't make up his mind whether the devil was going to have him or whether God was going to have him, so he hedged his bets. He was half in and half out of the church.
That's great. So that's Barnet. we think of you as Hitchin because obviously we've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
you on the walk. Are you a Hertfordshire historian, would you say? Or
Only Hitchin.
Only Hitchin, yeah.
Hertfordshire's too big to be.
Well, it's pretty big, yeah.
And I have to say that for those people who like local history, there's a book coming out this Saturday.
Oh, lovely.
It's being launched in the British School between 10:30 and 1 o'clock. It's called Discovering More of Hitchin. Back in the 1990s, Cilla Douglas and Pauline Humphreys, the late Cilla Douglas and the ever effervescent Pauline Humphreys, both local historians, edited a book called Discovering Hitchin.
Okay.
Well, I was one of the authors. I can't remember how many authors there were, but Cilla said, could you write the story of a road? Well, I was born in Nightingale Road in Hitchin, so I wrote memories of that road in my childhood. All the shops, all the householders, all the pubs. Not that I went to the pubs as a child, but I mentioned all the pubs. And then she said, would you do some of the adjacent roads? I thought, yeah, well, I'll do some of the adjacent roads. And then, would you do Butts Close? So I did Butts Close. And then she said, would you do Bunyan Road and York Road? I said, well, my grandmother used to live in Bunyan Road, so I'll do Bunyan Road and York Road. So by the time the book came out, I think I'd written about an eighth of it. And Cilla died year before last, and it was her wish that the notes that were left over from the previous book should be incorporated in a follow-up book. And 14 authors have got together to write a sequel, and that's coming out this weekend.
So that's, just confirm the date, so that's Saturday the 20th?
This coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously the show's coming out, so we'll mention the... Yeah.
And that will be on sale at Waterstones or the British School.
Amazing. Brilliant.
And the interesting thing about that book is it deals with parts of Hitchin that you wouldn't think anybody would take notice of, like the industries, like the origins of the Oakfield estate.
Right.
Trades which have disappeared, horticulture which has disappeared because of the constant encroachment of buildings, you know. So it is looking at Hitchin from a different angle.
Okay, that's interesting.
So people might indeed like that.
Great. What was the name of the book again?
Discovering More About Hitchin.
Discovering More About Hitchin. Fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. What fascinates us about the Ghost Walk is so many people who we just speak to on passing who have been on it. Oh yeah, we live in Hitchin. Oh, Hitchin, I went on a Ghost Walk there once. It seems that there's a massive draw to it. And you've got another one, the next one's on Halloween itself.
Halloween itself, yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yes. You were asking me earlier about do people come up with strange stories? Well, recently, a most amazing thing happened. For years and years, and I've been doing these ghost walks for 20 years, I've been telling the story about the phantom cat in Boots the chemist.
Okay. Fantastic.
Now, the phantom cat, the origin of the phantom cat is Boots the chemist was built, well, it was Woolworths before it was Boots, was built on the site of half of the Cock Hotel. And when the lost half of the Cock Hotel was pulled down, underneath the original cellar floor, which was presumably a brick floor, they found the skeleton of a cat.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the cat didn't creep into the crypt and expire. It was buried there because it was underneath the bricks. And the story goes that in ancient times, it was some kind of talisman to ward off evil spirits if you buried a cat, you see.
Yes.
Well, as I say, when the pub was pulled down, prior to building Woolworths, the forerunner of Boots, they found the skeleton of this cat. And in subsequent years, from the 1930s onwards, people who've worked in either Woolworths or Boots claim they have seen this phantom cat. Now, a chap who used to be a handyman stroke caretaker who used to open up the shop early in the mornings to receive van loads of pharmaceutical goods and that sort of thing, claimed he'd seen the cat. and he was told never to go into the storeroom upstairs on his own in case there was anything untoward going on up there. Now, having told this story to hundreds of people over the years on the ghost walks, early this year, probably March or April, I'd stopped outside Boots the chemist's on a night of the week when I don't normally do it. I don't do my ghost walks on a Wednesday, but for some reason I was doing it on a Tuesday, and the shop was open. Whether they do have a late night opening, I do not know. Whether they were just doing rearranging the shop. But a lady who was in the front window came to me. She said, "I'm pleased you stopped here." She said, "You're talking about our cat, aren't you?" I said, "Well, how do you know about the cat? Have you been on my ghost walk?" "No," she said, "but lots of people have been on your ghost walk and they told me about the cat." She said, "I've got some news for you. We've captured it on CCTV in the shop."
Oh, wow.
Now, I haven't seen the CCTV, but she claimed they'd seen this cat appear on their internal TV system.
Wow.
Imagine if they proved ghosts exist with a ghost cat.
Well, who knows?
Wow, absolutely. Well, they're going to be inundated.
I mean,
now.
that made my evening.
Yeah, I imagine.
A lot of this stuff I think is absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
But to have a story underlined.
Right, yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
You know? And there's another one. There's supposed to be a strange happening that happened in, it's called the Cove Spa, which is a fitness...
It's a beautician place.
Beautician's place at the top of the arcade.
Yeah.
The lady who runs that had a very strange experience one morning. She opened up the shop very early and she found upstairs all her health and safety papers and all her business papers had been scattered as though a burglar had been broken in. Moreover, the window was wide open. She phoned the police. And the police said, "Well, look at the CCTV in Keith Hoskins' office." So she went down to the CCTV in Keith Hoskins' office, and at 3 a.m. that morning, early February, a window was violently thrown open, seen on the telly screen, which is all the more remarkable because the previous year she'd had the upstairs decorated, she'd had air conditioning put in, she'd had all the windows sealed to obviate drafts.
Right.
So a force greater than human force had opened that window and it was recorded on CCTV.
Fantastic.
So, I like when people tell me these stories and you can back them up.
I mean, that's a very old. The arcade's a very old building as well.
Well, those buildings there are the stables left over from the Swan Inn, so they're probably 16th century.
Right. You might not want to answer this, as it might come up on the walk. That's supposedly an entrance to this mysterious network of tunnels underneath Hitchin, isn't it?
They don't exist.
Oh, that's a shame.
From childhood, probably your childhood, you've been told that there are tunnels all under Hitchin. You've been told there are tunnels from the Priory to St Mary's Church.
Yeah.
You've been told that there are tunnels from St Mary's Church to the Big Inn. And you've been told that there's a tunnel leading from the boys' school to the girls' school.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tunnel underneath the boys' school, but it's only a heating duct because I've been in it. You think of the work involved in digging a tunnel from the boys' school, up Hermitage Road, then up the top of the hill.
Up the hill,
so, total nonsense. One of my colleagues in the Historical Society, Simon Walker, wrote a book about 12, 15 years ago called Underground Hitchin.
Okay.
Because he was brought up with these stories and he tried to find out where these tunnels were. He went to the Priory, he went into people's cellars. There aren't any tunnels. And I tell people on my ghost walks that in 200 years of digging sewers, putting in gas mains, putting in electricity cables, in the 19th century, traction engines going up Tynehouse Street, in the 20th century, tanks, steam rollers, television cables going underground. Nobody has yet fallen in one of those tunnels. The only tunnel I do know, there are two tunnels I do know about, one in Ickleford and one underneath Hermitage Road.
Okay.
Now, when the Seabohm family owned the Hermitage, which was on Bancroft, where shall I say, near to where the old Ransoms Gateway.
Okay,
The Seabohm family owned what is now the area where the Queen Mother Theatre is.
Right.
And the Dell, where the open air theatre was an old quarry, and it was their bird sanctuary. They were keen nature lovers, and that was their private bird sanctuary. And when Hermitage Road, when they gave part of their garden to the town in 1876 to act as a road from Bancroft to Queen Street.
Right, yep.
That road was artificially cut to shorten the distance between the town centre and the railway station. They didn't want to bump into the hoi polloi catching trains in the morning, so they had a tunnel dug from the underneath Hermitage Road, from what is now the approach footpath to the open air theatre.
Okay, yeah.
Underneath Hermitage Road, somewhere underneath Walsworth Road, somewhere near where that little lodge is on the junction of Wimbush Road and
Walsworth
Road. It goes underneath there and comes out somewhere, I don't know, but Alan Fleck, a former curator at Hitchin Museum, has been in it. It is now, or was, a British Telecom cable duct.
Right.
You would have to creep through it at the best. It's not a tunnel like an underground tunnel.
No.
It's
They
only
must
a
have
small...
been quite well off to just have a tunnel built.
Well, they were merchant bankers.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, so that whole property up there, so the Dell, was that...
They owned Wimbush. They owned Windmill Hill.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
They owned vast tracts of land.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. They were merchant bankers, or connected with merchant bankers.
Sure, yeah.
So plenty of money. And the other tunnel I was mentioning, there is a tunnel, I believe, from the Old George pub in Ickleford to St Catherine's Church, because when the Lich Gate at the entrance to the churchyard in Ickleford was being rebuilt at the end of the 19th, beginning of the 19th century, it partly collapsed, revealing brickwork underneath in a direct line between the church and the George.
Right.
So I think that could possibly exist, but I don't know any more.
No.
Drains, priest holes, possibly. Hidden rooms, possibly, but no tunnel.
Priest holes, that sounds like that could have been. If it's between the pub and the church, a sort of sneaky out from a bed to the church. I mean, or just rolling barrels of gin down. You know, that's great. Okay, so we'll round it. So the next Ghost Walk is on the 31st. That's Wednesday the 31st.
That's right.
You can buy tickets at the
Keith Hoskins in the initiative office.
Yep, on Churchyard. Is that? Yep. Perfect. And how much do they go for?
£5.
So
and you get 2.5 hours of whimsy, spooky nonsense.
Absolutely, and a really fascinating insight into kind of Hitchin and what it was like throughout the years as well. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Derek.
Pleasure.
Thank you for revealing some stories and chatting with us for the evening.
Yeah, thanks
Sleep
very much.
well tonight.
And don't forget, you can get the Hitchin book.
Discovering More of Hitchin.
Discovering More of Hitchin on sale in Water.
I think it's $14.95.
Perfect.
That's not the year, that's the price.
Brilliant. Thanks so much.
Watch out for the library. I wouldn't go in there if I were you. Strange things might befall you.
Okay. Thanks for your advice.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
Don't go near the third book on the fourth shelf up.
That's very specific.
Let's definitely not go near that.
Let's definitely go nowhere near that. Come on then, let's go.
For an extended interview and for some extra spooky stories straight from Derek Wheeler's mouth, check out our podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher and Podbean.
That's right, Bub. Say hello.
Come on, Captain, give me a break, will you?
Say hello to your Aunt Alicia. Say hello, Aunt Alicia. Hello, Aunt Alicia.
Hello, Scream Bucket.
Oh, wow, this is lovely. What a long, lovely table.
Oh, and there's food laid out for us.
Oh my! Oh, is that prawns?
It is. That's a prawn cocktail. That's an amazing prawn cocktail.
I love prawn cocktails.
I thought Torgo said there wasn't going to be any food.
And we might die of food poisoning because prawns are very, very bad.
Are they?
Yeah, very small shelf life. but I'm really, really
Shelf
hungry.
life. All right. That went better than I thought. Okay, well, let's take a seat. So,
I mean, this is a spooky old mansion, yeah?
Yeah.
And we talked about a cabin in the woods earlier. It got me to thinking. What?
Are you doing your GCSE drama?
It got me to thinking.
Oh, Bruce, I do so love you.
Oh. What are your top 5 spooky locations in film?
Oh, this isn't fair. You've done me twice in a row.
That's what she said.
Oh! The actor said to the bishop.
There we go, corrected.
Anyway, 5 spooky locations. Are we ruling Cabin in the Woods out? Well, okay, let's work it through. So, off the top of my head, the classic Stephen King creepy house on the corner of the suburb. That's
okay, yeah.
That's one to think about. Have you seen The Burbs?
No, I haven't yet, no.
Oh, mate. Joe Dante, brilliant film. It's a spooky house.
Oh, Joe Dante.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen it.
Interesting.
Tom Hanks. Good film.
Oh, yes. I know.
I'm not sure if that should be in the top 5, but...
No, well, the suburban house, you think you've got like the last house on the left and stuff like that. You've got all sorts of really
Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
There's a really specific American house they use in those kind of things.
Just a bit too big for us English folk to understand.
And also made of wood.
Mm.
So they're all rotting and old.
Yeah. I guess the thing with the house trope is the safety of home being molested.
Yeah, which is traditionally a sort of Japanese thing. There's a bizarre amount of Japanese ghosts that are set in toilets.
Ugh.
Toilets and beds.
That's too invasive, the toilet.
But that's it. That's why, I guess. Like, not just the toilet, but the bathroom. Seems to be like a...
It's the place of ultimate vulnerability.
And equally bed as well. I mean, I seem to remember The Grudge, there's a scene in the bed.
Oh, yeah. I think the one time I peeked through my fingers was when that horrible girl thing sort of popped up through the legs when she was like hiding under the covers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Under the covers where you're always taught you're most safe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good scene, that.
Yeah.
I like The Grudge. I don't think people give it enough credit.
No, not at all.
Anyway, where do you not want to hang out if you know you're in a...
Where do I not want to hang out?
It's difficult because there's a lot of horror films that are set in colleges and...
I was just thinking about the high school corridor where there's no one else there and it's only you. So, inexplicably, you're in the school.
Yeah.
You're clasping your textbooks. You walk out of the classroom or the bathroom.
Yeah.
And for some reason or another, there is no one there.
Yeah. Straight from real life. Have you ever been to your school after hours?
Oh, yeah. It's really creepy.
Like, no, not detention or anything, but if you're there like at 8 o'clock at night or something. Like that time we were at college. We got the wrong day for a gig. And we just were sort of hanging around the college for a bit.
Oh, and then the drunk janitor stumbled out of the cupboard and fell on a mattress.
Yeah.
No.
Mysterious man.
They had a mattress prepared for him.
Yeah. So he had this secret door we didn't even know was there. He opened up, pulled a mattress out, flopped on the floor and fell asleep.
Yeah.
We're just standing there, open-mouthed.
And then, like, a tutor came along and was like, it's okay. And you and me were just stood there awkwardly going,
We need to leave this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Schools are creepy at night.
And The Shining would make me think big hotel. Big abandoned hotel.
That's my dream, though. I remember seeing The Shining on, I think it was a Halloween a couple of years ago, at Cineworld. And I remember walking out and going, I want to house sit a hotel. It would be awesome.
And it would be brilliant for writing. Just walking down the corridors.
Which is what happens in The Shining.
Going a bit stir crazy. I mean, you've got the bar to go to. Imagine if they say, oh, yeah, help yourself to some drinks, to pass the time.
Work and no play.
Yeah.
How about sewer tunnels?
Well, I'm not seeing enough sewers, really.
Or drainage tunnels, or old abandoned train station.
No, I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of Pennywise. I'm thinking of dead children.
I'm thinking of ghost stories.
Oh, yeah, that was very
Equally
creepy.
a dead child. Well.
There's one.
Yeah. There's something worrying about that. Creepy, like, this is a place where there's no actual exit. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. This is harder than I thought. What about an attic?
Oh, God, yeah.
A loft?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
There's some... Now, yes, this is a very big one. Do you think it's just because of the hatch? It's
the hatch, and it's extra. It's like, we picture a house as the rooms.
Right.
When we think of the attic, the attic is added. A cellar is added. It's
just a space.
It's space after space.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if it's the crescendo. It's the final showdown. It's the wherever you go in the house, whatever you do, don't go in that bit.
Yes, that
final
final
bit.
Attic. Yeah. There's definitely something about it. It's that idea as well that you can open the hatch and you only see you can't just slam it open and see what's on the other side.
No.
You have to slowly do it, and then you have to look around. And if there's something behind you, it takes you a long old time to look all the way around.
Oh, and you can be guaranteed they'll be looking right at you, right up close.
This little clown doll. Or...
Naked people.
Hereditary really got to you, didn't it?
Yes. Yes, it really did.
Okay. Well, I think Loft is definitely in the top 5 then. I'm not convinced about School, but I think it is a good one.
It is, definitely.
I have to think of any more. Do you know, yeah, equally similar to the School, A Empty Street. It sounds really mundane and lame, but if you walk around Hitchin town at 5 a.m, it's eerie.
It is.
Because you'll see the odd cleaner, the odd drunk, whatever, but it's completely dead, desolate. That's how they filmed, famously, 28 Days Later in London. They just chose that point of time in the morning.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I always thought, well, I know, I know that fact, but I thought there had to be some form of trickery.
No,
that desolate landscape. I mean, they probably would have had to clean up one thing or two, I imagine.
Maybe, but that wasn't an original idea. That came from Invasion of the Daleks, 60s Doctor Who film rather than series with Peter Cushing. Same thing, exactly the same thing. They had just had Daleks walking around 5 a.m. Before everyone turned up.
Nice.
They had to usher off the odd homeless person. But yeah, it's quite a shocking thing.
There's places that are spooky, but they don't feature enough. Like I think of like a mental asylum is terrifying because you think of all these rotten beds and instruments and like, abandoned rooms where they used to lobotomise people, and you just get a flash. You look through the window and there's a chair, like needles pointing towards where the head would be and things like that.
It's a bit loaded though, isn't it? Asylums.
It is. A lake.
A lake. Now, yes.
Lakes.
There's mythologically scary places.
Because
the gateways to the underworld.
Have you seen What Lies Beneath?
No.
Harrison Ford.
No, I've not seen that one.
I can't remember who was opposite him. Yeah, but the lake in that is a very scary scene in it, and there's so many films. I think there's something about the stillness of a lake, and what it hides.
Yeah,
what secrets are hidden in a lake.
Yeah, there's an ancient sort of fear of lakes or worship of lakes, sort of Arthur stories and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Friday the 13th, the lake's always there. In the first one, something does happen, and the third one as well. Even though it's not the main horror thing, it's always there. There's always that slight worrying thing that even going into the lake won't bring you safety. Ooh.
So far we have lake, attic, hotel, abandoned
school.
What else? The car.
I wasn't expecting that at all, but you're right. Absolutely. At night.
Enclosed, trapped, alone, driving towards somewhere. You have a finite amount of time before you're going to reach this destination. But there's something else in the car with you.
I was thinking the other way. Driving along at night, country road, lights on, apologies if you're listening to this on a country road at night with the lights on. You have such a limited scope of vision. Just as you're driving along, just a figure in the middle of the road, or just on the edge of the road that steps backwards. That freaks me out more than anything else.
Do you remember when we were filming out in Minston Chapel?
Yeah.
Yes. Or we were looking for Clop Hill and we were driving back in the dead of night and then there was a zombie in the middle of the road.
Yes. Like, that sounds ridiculous. We saw a zombie. It was a man, not in a good shape.
No, bedraggled.
Yeah.
Stumbling in the middle of the road, not near a town, in the countryside, in the middle of nowhere. And then we just avoided running him over.
Yeah. That
was weird, wasn't it?
That was really weird. But films like Extro, like there's that sort of idea of things on the edge of your vision. I had an ex-girlfriend who used to be stalked by an owl.
Oh, but this is what's the
There's a thing about
folk
owls.
thing, the Owl Man.
Oh, the Owl Man.
And it sort of
Cornwall story. Yeah.
It follows you, doesn't it?
It does. It stalks you, and it's That's maybe a different story because we're running way over.
All right, I think we've got enough, haven't we?
Oh, you got it all over the floor. Ugh, fetch me the stream bucket and the mop.
God, I'm so glad we got out of there when we did.
Yeah, that was a bit odd.
Those prawns, they just went straight for her face.
Oh, God, I think I've got bite marks. Didn't even know they had mouths that big.
Yeah, you've got something there. Still, I didn't realise you were such a good dancer.
Yeah, not so bad yourself.
Well, thanks very much. Still, I think we need to get somewhere safe because there's something weird in this house. There's spiders, there's prawns, there's
the weird goatee butler.
Yeah, that. Join us.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
The creepy voice saying "Join us."
No. Join us.
Did you hear that?
I can't hear anything, just your heart beating.
Well, that's because there's a creepy voice saying "Join us."
Join us.
Ugh. I think it's coming from the library.
Library?
Yeah. See the door over there that says library on it?
Oh, yeah.
Join us. Ugh. Did you hear it that time?
I can't hear anything.
There's only one thing for it. We're going to have to go into the library and investigate.
All right, well, I guess it'll be safe in there.
What
would be damper in it? Let's go and have a look.
Okay. Huh. Wow, there's so many books.
It's really nice in here.
Hmm.
God, Uncle Phil must be a real collector.
Yeah, look at all these, like, bits of parchment, quills.
Oh. Quills?
Yeah.
Hmm.
How old is this place?
I have no idea. Great Uncle Phil, I wish I could find you, just so I can ask you some ruddy questions.
He's just a ghost in this place, isn't he? He just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Maybe he's in the walls.
Hey, that bookshelf over there, that can't be the one Derek was talking about, was it?
Of all the bookshelves in here, I mean, who knows? He said the fifth one from the left?
Yeah, so as long as we don't choose that one.
Yeah, on
should
the
be fine.
third shelf, right?
Yes. From
Was
the
it
bottom?
No, I thought it's on the top.
Okay.
Join us.
Oh. Did you not hear it that time?
I can't... What? Hear what?
Let's just go and look at the bookshelf.
Alright.
And what have we got to lose?
I mean, our lives?
No.
Oh, right. So which one do you want to see?
Oh, that one there, obviously. I mean, it just looks like it's made out of skin or something.
As if.
Yeah. As if that's going to be the one.
Yeah, have a look.
Yeah, he must be talking about this Greek dictionary. Or Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Ugh, who wants to read that?
Well, me. But let's pick the skin one.
Right, let's have a look.
Do you want to read it? I can't really make it out.
Let me hold up to the light. Okay, well let's have a look. So it seems to be it's got burial rites. Book of the Dread. I can't read it properly.
I'll give it a read.
All right, let's. Okay. Oh, here's a bit. Okay. So, completely fictional. Any reference to people living or dead is purely Oh, it's the copyright page. I'll skip over it. Okay, here we go. Canda Estrada Candus Frus Indactu Canda Estrada Candus Frus Indactu Nosferandus Canda Estimatus Candus Frus Indactu Nosferandus Canda Dimatus Canda.
Well, that was a bit of an anticlimax.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Huh. Well, what do you want to do now?
I guess must be a bedroom around here somewhere. We can just sort of kip down. It's getting late now, so
I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find a couple of beds or just one huge one. I'm sure this mansion has big old.
Adam, it's your Uncle Phil.
Phil, is that you?
What's wrong with him? His eyes are white. Come
to me.
No.
Come.
No, I'm not going anywhere near you.
If you had come to my mansion and read aloud the passage in the books, and you have awoken us, you have raised us from our slumber, and now you are ours.
We're really very sorry. We thought this book was safe. We can just leave.
Yeah, Torgo.
Torgo is nowhere near. Now, I will claim your soul.
Oh, let us go. The door slams.
Here, have a fork. We can fight back.
I'll stab it in the face.
That's really smart.
I got him.
I'll get him as well.
You sot.
Ha, you didn't think of that, did you?
Well, luckily we're not alone. You're not all. You have broken too many ribs.
Oh, it's that bloody spider again.
This will be the last time I will eat your flies.
Oh, God, stay away from my flies.
Now give me your flies. Give me your flies.
Right. That's it, Rob. We need to fight back.
Oh, well, it's time to split. Yeah, sorry. It's from a game.
Oh, sod it. Just get them.
He's on top of me! He's on top of me! Go away!
Sorry, Rob.
He's got my ear!
Rob, I'll get the spider off you.
Oh, no, just this to plumb before. I can't.
You little sod. I'll stomp you.
Of me! He's about to spit something in my face. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Have you got any weapon? Just chop his head off or something. God, what have you got?
Chainsaw.
Use it.
Right. Spider stomped. Uncle Phil split. We need to get out of here.
We're not forgetting anyone, are we?
Just checking in, Master. I thought I'd just see what all the fuss was about.
Kill it!
What's happening?
Die!
Rob,
Die!
Rob,
Die!
Rob,
Die!
Stop!
Die!
Rob!
What?
What have you just done?
I've killed him.
You've killed Torgo.
He was a demon.
He wasn't a demon. He was coming to help.
Oh, yeah? Look!
He does have hooves. God, this is ridiculous. He does have hooves.
I told you.
You just killed a goat man.
What, do you think they're some sort of endangered species?
Yes.
Well, not anymore. They're extinct.
Right, fine. Let's just get out of here.
Luckily, I got a pencil.
Oh, God! Oh, bloody hell, Phil! It really hurt. It's got the lead in it and everything.
I don't care. I'm gonna swallow your sword.
It's not even sharpened.
Rob,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to use this lighter fluid I picked up earlier without telling you.
Okay. Well, it just so happens that I've got a lighter in my pocket.
Oh, fantastic. Right, we're just gonna have to pour it over Phil and just get rid of him.
Okay.
Okay. Just stand strategically by this window.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Light the lighter.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll throw the thing. Oh, thank God. We landed in this slightly damp, swampy cemetery outside the window. Well, we've burnt down the mansion.
We've killed Uncle Phil and his butler, Goat Torgo.
And the giant spider.
Yeah, the French giant talking spider.
I hope Derek got out.
Yeah.
He's going on his walk in a few days. Well, we're alive, anyway. Do you think we're going to get our sponsorship money?
I'd lean towards no.
Oh, what a wasted journey. Well. Oh. Oh, we're in a pet cemetery.
Oh yeah, we are in a pet cemetery.
Typical. Did you see the trailer for the new one?
No.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a bit bland, I think. Standard modern horror. Yeah. Sabrina, though. Have you seen Sabrina?
Sabrina looks really cool, yeah. Going back to Pet Sematary, I've never seen or read it, and I thought the entire film was going to be about zombie animals. And judging from the trailer, it's not all about zombie animals.
I think it spreads.
So there are some zombie animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... I'm taking this exclusively from Treehouse of Horror.
Oh, okay.
And they raise Snowball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it starts off as...
Oh, I remember that.
And then they come back evil.
That was like in
vicious.
the prime of The Simpsons, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Episode? Yeah.
It's the classic Treehouse of Horrors, yeah. Is there anything else you're looking forward to?
I started watching House on Haunted Hill on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's
keep
good.
hearing about it.
Yeah, it's good. It's very depressing. It's not one of those sort of fabulous, mystical American Horror Story things when you're entertained by post-Glee madness. There's a death in the family. The family are coping. They're all on their separate ways. You've got the addicted brother. You've got the successful writer brother who exploited the rest of the family by turning the horrific events. They basically lived in this mansion.
Okay.
A family member dies in the mansion.
Yeah.
Under very spooky, mysterious, horrible circumstances.
Okay.
And then he...
You say this while my uncle's burning.
Yeah, well.
Behind, yeah.
We'll be far away when the police come.
Oh, I guess.
And he basically becomes a rubbish writer.
Okay.
And then he realises the only way he can make it is by writing his experience.
Right.
And, shunning the family into unwanted fame around the death of this other family member. So, fast forward on a few years, none of the siblings are speaking, and then one of them dies mysteriously at the house, I think.
Yeah.
And then spooky things start happening. They're all reluctantly drawn back together to solve this mystery of why one of them has died.
Yeah.
And it's very sad, and you have to get through the episodes of establishing that relationship.
That lines up with the feedback I'm hearing on Twitter. People seem to say it's quite boring.
It is boring.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's striking me that sounds like it's straight out of the Hereditary blueprint.
It's not nearly as scary. I never had to look away once.
But Hereditary has that family drama, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So I wonder if that's the same. Maybe that's the new wave of horror. It's going to be sort of disguised horror in a drama.
If it is, I'm already fed up with it and it can leave. But I can't slate it too much. I mean, I want to watch the next episode. Whether I will or not, we'll see.
Yeah, I was hearing a lot of people struggling around episode 4 and 5.
Oh, really? I haven't even got there yet.
Right.
Okay.
But then beyond that, it's said to be good. Yeah, I do want to check it out. I want to check that out. I want to check Sabrina out.
Yes.
I might even do that as part of my 31 Days of Horror.
Well, we watched the trailer for that, and there didn't seem to be any talking cat.
There was a cat.
But it wasn't talking.
Well, not in the trailer.
I want it constantly talking in there all the time.
I didn't realise until I looked up separately. There's a lot of English people in there. Lucy Davis, of The Office fame.
Oh, yeah.
I can never remember her name. Some Gomez, the Green Wing actress,
yes.
Scottish woman. She was the master in the Doctor Who series fairly recently. Yeah, interesting.
Oh,
Do you know who I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. That's all pretty cool. I'm still doing my 31 days of horror, so I've got many films to watch even now. I'm coming to the end of it now, though, by the time this goes out. Yeah, got some good ones coming up.
Oh, there's something very, very big we have to announce.
And what is that?
It involves a certain doll by the name of Corvus.
Corvus, the doll?
Yes. Me and Adam and our good friend and compadre in film production, Josh.
Dog's Body.
Yes, Dog's Body. We've put our heads together and come up with a short film. And when are we going to release that, Adam?
The plan is to release it on Halloween, on the 31st, 9 o'clock.
Ooh.
The spookiest time of the evening.
Yes.
I haven't started it yet, but I will.
We've shot it.
Oh yeah, it's all shot. We did it in 10 hours, in fact, which is our record.
And about a third of that involved stuffing a fake you with clothes and trying to fling it out of my house.
Yeah, the stuffing part was easy. Trying to fling it over a ruddy railing took all afternoon.
Turns out filmmaking is hard sometimes.
Turns out physics are evil and hate us.
Yes.
But so make sure you tune in for that. Obviously, I'll post about that on Twitter. If you are in the mood for a longer film, we know that there's a few things going on around Halloween, which is quite exciting. The Letchworth Broadway Cinema, on the 31st, they're showing the classic 1931 Frankenstein film at 6 o'clock, which is quite good. Have you seen that?
Nope.
I saw it at uni, and it's bloody good.
Is it? I've seen bits of it. I've seen the iconic scene with the torches and all that.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's followed up by one of my favourite horror films of all time, An American Werewolf in London, which you haven't seen, have you?
No.
Criminal.
I don't know why I'm on this show.
No, you... Get out of here!
What, out of the cemetery full of petty gravestones?
Yeah, maybe let's go in somewhere and then you can go out.
Okay.
So that's the Cineworld, and that's Broadway in Letchworth. Cineworld and Stevenage, on the 30th, they're playing the 30th anniversary re-release of Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
Which is rather exciting. I enjoy Beetlejuice.
Yeah, so do I.
It's probably my second favourite Tim Burton film. The first being Ed Wood.
I watched Sleepy Hollow the other week and I realised how much I love that film.
Yeah. That had a real
So
influence on me as a teenager.
Yeah.
I remember for my GCSE writing, English, GCSE, I wrote a story about a headless horseman being hunted down by a bounty hunter, a sort of Van Helsing bounty hunter.
A bounty hunter?
A bounty hunter. And I found it a couple of years ago, and I was quite enjoying it.
Really?
My writing has not changed since I was about 15 years old.
Is that good or bad?
Well, the writing wasn't that good, but the characters is exactly what I do now. Anyway, on the actual 31st, on Halloween, if you're not planning on going out and hitting the town, Cineworld Stevenage are playing The Evil Dead, the classic, the remastered re-release version, at 8:45. And before that, they're playing The Fog.
I always get it mixed up with The Mist.
The Fog is the Ghost Pirates.
Do you know the difference between Fog and Mist?
Ghost Pirates.
Yes. No, but I looked it up today because there was really thick fog this morning. And apparently, if it's more than 1,000 metres away that you can see, if you can see for ahead of you a lot, it's mist. If it's not that bad.
Right.
If it's really, really thick, it's fog.
Oh, so
and that's the only difference.
It's density.
Yes, density.
Well, that's very interesting, isn't it?
Might as well educate our listeners.
Absolutely. So I think that's the end of our show, though. I think we're coming to the end. We're free of the mansion. We need to try and get a lift back from that taxi driver.
He's not coming back.
We're going to have to walk. Still, though, we've wrapped everything else up. Nothing to do now, but just leave the cemetery.
Yeah, let's get out of here. I think it's time we put this behind us.
And that's the end of our show.
What a show.
Yeah, we got out of that sticky situation just about.
Hmm.
But that's a story for another day.
Maybe next year.
Maybe. Scream Bucket free.
If they don't fire us after this episode.
Yeah. Well, let's not worry about it too much.
No.
Just want to repeat how thankful we are for Derek Wheeler to join us on our show this week.
Absolutely. Just an incredible, amazing personality with a knowledge of Hitchin that we just didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the place as if he lived through it being built.
I think in his blood he was. Similar to your family as well. It's sort of woven into Hitchin, into the area. Not like me, a filthy immigrant.
Where are you from?
Cheshunt.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God.
And
Cheshunt.
Enfield.
Ugh.
Although there is apparently a link to my granddad being from Hitchin on his family, but we haven't worked that out yet.
Oh, let's hope so for your sake.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, make sure if you're interested in going on the Hitchin Ghost Walk, you've still got a few days to buy a ticket. It's only £5 at the Hitchin Initiative office on Churchyard for 2.5 hours of really, really interesting, fascinating ghost stories of Hitchin.
It just doesn't stop being interesting the whole way through.
No, absolutely.
I couldn't recommend it enough.
So that's on the 31st on October itself. A lot of options.
What are you going to do on Halloween?
I have no idea.
What are we going to do? We are probably going to watch scary movies and then drink.
And then maybe go out.
Sweet.
Yeah. We'll watch our own scary movie.
Yes.
Corvus the Clown. Just one final plug for that. That should be going out on Halloween. We will be tweeting about it. So make sure you follow us at screen_bucket on Twitter, and we'll keep you updated.
How long do you reckon the running time's going to be? Let's just say it's going to be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you want to see a man hugely reduce the deposit he gets on his flat in 15 minutes, then this is the film to watch.
Absolutely.
All right, cheers, guys. Nice one.
See you in a fortnight.